Hey everyone, welcome to Las Vegas. It's a weekday around the evening rush hour. I'm on the I-15 headed southbound. There's been a lot of road work lately. In fact, I can't remember a time when there wasn't road work. But these days, the lane closures on some of the freeways are really causing a delay to the commute no matter where you're trying to go. Look at the traffic to the left. I thought it'd be good to get off this freeway and grab a bite to eat and wait the traffic out. Maybe even make a video. This is Spring Mountain Road headed westbound. If you go about 5 minutes, you'll come across a ptspub. Well, actually it's called Ptsgold. There's a ton of ptspubs throughout Vegas. Some of them are called Ptsgold, some are called sierragold, and it's a pretty big bar and grill, pretty big tavern, pretty big video poker lounge, whatever you want to call it. This location is pretty huge. They even have about a half dozen pool tables in the back. There are a lot of ptspubs, Ptsgold, sierragold in Las Vegas. If you live here, you'll see them everywhere. And it's not my first time here, but I haven't been here in a while. They have food available 24 hours and of course gaming. These are some regulars who won last week's bingo tournament. Just kidding. These pretzel bites looked really impressive on the menu, as well as some other items, such as their 16-inch pizza. I remember it was good, but I can't remember exactly how it tasted. And as always, for details, check the description below for their website if you want to see all the items on the menu. I started off with a few wings. It's like $14 for like 5 pieces. Wings are expensive just about everywhere you go now. They also have a 10-piece and a 15-piece. The 10-piece goes for $24 and the 15-piece is $34. That's pretty steep for chicken wings, but it was good. It was hot, it was crispy, and the classic buffalo sauce. I just got the buffalo hot. These are what they call their golden wings. It's your classic bone-in chicken wing. The level of spice I got for the sauce was just the hot. I believe they have one hotter version, but I didn't want to go overboard. There was a good presence of vinegar. The french fries were not soggy, just standard. The wings themselves were crispy on the outside and they were pretty moist on the inside. My only complaint was that the price was kind of high. I think I found cheaper wings at other places for the same quality. They have some good looking items on the menu, but they don't have prime rib or steak. The closest thing is what they call a grilled steak chop for about $16. But I did want to try their burgers. Their burger looked really good. This is the steakhouse burger and it comes with 2 quarter-pound patties, so this is a half-pound burger. And it didn't disappoint at all. It looked super attractive, looked delicious. And let me tell you, when I took that first bite, I couldn't put it down until at least half of it was gone. I recommend that you don't take this to go. You'd be doing yourself an injustice. You want to eat this right on the spot when it's steaming hot, cheese melted, bacon crispy and hot before the oil hardens. This one had mushrooms and you could smell the aroma of the mushrooms. The mushrooms were just average mushrooms. It wasn't a portobello or anything like that, but it still gave the burger a nice texture. The bacon wasn't extremely thick cut, but there were 2 large strips of bacon and it was enough to give you that great bacon taste. Crispy bacon with these huge patties. This was an awesome burger. I was looking forward to the pizza because if I remember right, the pizza here was great. This is the Supreme Pizza, $20, and you know what? It looked really awesome. But how did it taste and what makes this pizza so special? First of all, the crust is really thin. It's not as filling as, say, a pan pizza. You get that crispiness on the crust that just amazed me. Every time I was taking a bite, I get that crispy crust and a mound of toppings, really flavorful toppings. I love the Italian sausage. The sauce was just right, and I loved the black olives. I'm not crazy about black olives, but I don't mind them. But in this case, The olives were amazing. It's a little difficult to explain how these black olives played such a big role, but the flavor was really amazing and it mixed with everything so well. The combination of the pizza sauce, the thin crust, the sausage, everything just blended together to make this one of the best pizzas I've had in a long time. Now for my last item, I got their cheesesteak at $14. This is probably the only item that did not impress me. And the tater tots, they were crispy, just the whole dish and the presentation just looked kind of unfulfilling. You see all that empty space in the bun? It's only an 8-inch roll, I believe, but it just seemed like something was missing or just looked very plain. It just didn't look like a cheesesteak. It didn't look like what a cheesesteak should look like. A cheesesteak should look like an overstuffed duffel bag or whatever, overstuffed luggage like these. I mean, am I being picky? I mean, these are the kind of cheesesteaks that I'm used to. When I think about cheesesteak, I'm thinking about a sandwich that's so big that it's intimidating. It's overly stuffed with meat, tons of meat and cheese. And if you want grilled onions or mushrooms, these are from Capriati and a place that closed down. It was called the Cheesecake Factory. That one was actually in a gas station, but I loved cheesesteak because it's just a fulfilling sandwich. This is Jason's Deli's beef eater. Even Jason's Deli, even though this is not a large sandwich, they stuff a lot of meat into it, and you can see the thickness of the beef in there. That's why they call this the beef eater. I mean, for a sandwich, especially a Philly cheesesteak, it's gotta be big. It's got to have more meat. You can't have gaps in the roll. That's why I stopped going to Pop's cheesesteak, because they kind of started skimping on the meats. I don't know, maybe some of you would like it, but for me it was a very plain tasting sandwich and there wasn't enough meat. But all in all, PT's Pub has some pretty good items. There were some items here that I thought were outstanding, and they're open 24 hours. It was good enough for me to want to make this video because the burger stood out as one of the most flavorful and fulfilling burgers I've ever had. The pizza, I'm craving it again. That pizza was amazing. The wings were good. And there's a lot of things on their menu that I haven't been able to cover, like the grilled steak chop, but I don't know, grilled steak chopped, maybe not. But that'll do it for me here at PT's Pub. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.